Saul of Tarsus marched along the dusty road toward Damascus with fire in his heart. Letters from the high priest rattled in his travel pouch, granting permission to tie up any followers of Jesus he might find in the great Syrian city. Around him the midday sun blazed, the city walls still many miles away, and the guards who traveled with him talked of inns, water, and evening meals. Saul's mind, however, stayed fixed on his mission. He truly believed he was serving God by hunting the believers, and each step felt like a proud stride in sacred armor. No laughter crossed his face, only stern determination. Every footprint on the hot stones echoed a plan to silence the growing church forever. Without warning, a radiance brighter than the scorching sky poured down and wrapped the road in white-hot brilliance. Saul staggered. His knees buckled, and he crumpled onto the ground. A presence filled the air, powerful, holy, undeniable, speaking straight into his soul. The thunderous question asked why he fought against the very one sent from heaven with love. Terror mixed with wonder locked him in silence. In that instant Saul understood he was standing before the Lord he had rejected. He tried to look up, but the curtain of glory blinded him and pressed him to the earth, leaving him trembling and speechless. When the light finally faded, darkness replaced it. Saul opened his eyes but saw nothing at all. The men who had journeyed with him heard a voice yet saw no one, and now they had to guide their commander by the hand. Step by uncertain step, they led the once fierce Pharisee into Damascus. For 3 long days Saul dwelled in silence, blindness, and prayer. He refused food and drink, wrestling inside his heart with everything he had ever believed. The memory of the light burned within him like a holy fire, melting his anger, exposing his errors, and planting a new seed of hope he did not yet understand. In another part of the city lived a disciple named Ananias. Late one night a vision came to him, instructing him to travel to Straight Street, to the house of a man named Judas, and to ask for Saul of Tarsus. The command stunned Ananias. Stories about Saul's cruelty had already spread, and fear flickered through his thoughts like sparks on dry straw. Yet the Lord explained that Saul was chosen to carry the good news to Gentiles, kings, and the people of Israel. Obedience won over fear, and as dawn painted the sky pale rose, Ananias slipped out, heart beating fast but resolved to fulfill the heavenly instruction. He found the house, climbed the stone steps, and entered the room where Saul waited in darkness. The air smelled of dust and bread that had gone uneaten. Resting gentle hands on the blind man's shoulders, Ananias told him about the bright encounter on the road and announced that sight and courage would now be restored. At that moment something like scales fell away from Saul's eyes. Light returned, soft at first, then clear as morning. Sight was not the only gift renewed, new life surged within him. The Spirit of God filled Saul with peace he had never known. Weak from fasting, he accepted food, gained strength, and stepped into the waters of baptism, leaving the old man behind. Only days later, Saul walked the same streets he had planned to cleanse of believers, but now the message on his lips was entirely different. Entering the synagogues, he proclaimed that Jesus truly was the promised Son of God, the Savior offered to all people everywhere. Listeners stared, astonished. Some remembered the old Saul who had sought to chain disciples. Now they saw a man transformed before their eyes. Confusion soon gave way to fury among those who had once cheered his mission. Plots formed in dim corners to end his life. Friends, both old and new, helped him escape the city by night, lowering him in a basket through an opening in the wall. News raced ahead of him, and far away the church wondered if the change could be real. Yet the truth shone as brightly as the midday light on the Damascus road. Saul, soon called Paul, carried the story of his encounter wherever he traveled, the sudden blaze, the voice from heaven, the mercy that turned hate into love. From bustling ports to quiet villages, across seas and kingdoms, he spoke of forgiveness and new beginnings for anyone who would trust in Jesus. Each retelling set other hearts ablaze, and the church grew stronger than chains, swords, or prisons could ever stop. For children who listen today, the story of the road to Damascus waves like a bright banner of hope. No heart is too hard, no mistake too great, and no past too heavy for God to change. Saul set out to arrest others. Yet Jesus arrested him with grace. The same Lord who opened blind eyes longs to open every heart. And just as Saul walked out of darkness into a fresh sunrise, anyone who trusts in Jesus can step into joyful life that never fades.